All right, this is a quick video to show you how to compare multiple designs on a single plot. We'll do it for the P/S plot, but you can also do the exact same thing for the energy maneuverability plot. I've started with a single design, so this is the F-22. I have resaved it as Jet 10 compare so that I'm not messing up the F-22 that I start with. But let's compare the F-22, the F-16, and the F-35. So the first thing you want to do is have each of the files open on a single computer. So there's the Jet 10 compare, there is the F-35, and then there's the F-16. You'll want to select a P/S. Right now the default is normally about 200 foot per second contour interval. That'll give you too many lines and make it for a really messy plot. So find something for the something that'll give you 2 or 3 lines, 2 or 3 contour intervals. So for a 500 foot per second on the F-22, we end up with 4. Let's see what that looks like on the F-16. So there's 500 foot per second. We'll calculate the P/S. Make sure that we've got a consistent load factor and percent afterburner set. The weight is already calculated at 50% internal fuel for all of these. Jet 10 automatically does that for you. So it looks like 500 foot per second will give us 2 contour intervals on the F-16, and on the F-35, 500 feet per second contour interval will also give us, looks like it gives us 3. So that should work for comparison purposes. Going back to whatever our base document is going to be, I've just called it Jet 10 compare. So these contour intervals are columns H and I. So what we want to do is we want to add the data series from the other plots. All right, let's add the F-16 and F-15 contours to this. So by far you can link it between spreadsheets, but it's a lot simpler just to paste them into this spreadsheet. So let's go to the F-16. And the F-16, so here is the Mach and here's the altitude for the specific excess power contours at the 500 foot interval. So let's copy all those. So Control C, and then we'll come back to the Jet 10 compare, and just over here someplace, we are going to File or Home, paste the values. So, and let's label those. Those are the F-16. And then let's make F-35 as well, and we'll do the same thing. Mach and altitude from the F-35 spreadsheet. So columns H and I, we're going to calculate copy Mach altitude for the F-35. Control C, back over to the tab here, and then we want to paste the values. All right, so now we got the values, and we want to add those to the plot. So right-click, select data. We want to add. Let's name the series so that we can tell it apart later. The F-16 series, the X values are going to be this column. And then the Y values. All right, and then we'll do the same thing for the F-35. So add series name F-35. The X values are going to be the Mach. And then the Y values are going to be the P/S, or the altitudes that go with the P/S contours. And then you can OK. So now we've added F-16 and F-35, and they show up in 2 different colors. A couple things that you'll want this to be apparent which curve is which. So the best way to do this is to add some shapes to it. Obviously, we've got color, and you can print this out in color. And again, these are the PCBS 500-foot contour intervals. But clicking on one of the curves, right click, and so the first time you click, you'll just get the data series. And the next time you click, you'll get the data point. So this is an actual data point. Format the data point. And then over here on marker, if you add a marker, so select one of the built-in markers. Let's do triangles for the F16, and you can make it a little bit bigger. And then you can select another marker on the curve and do the same thing. We'll select a triangle. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Maybe one right here. If you add markers to all of the entire line, it'll use every data point, and every data point will be a marker. And then this curve we'll want to make sure that we annotate as the F16. And then we'll create a legend in Excel. You can just make a little triangle and point to what it is. All right, for the F35, we'll again, that selects all the data. We'll want to select just a data point. So here are format data point options built in for the F35. Let's do X's because it's a lot obvious and different. So we'll make that 7 points. We'll add an X right here. There's an X. You could use circles if you wanted, just so that it's obvious which one's which. F35, we'll add that, add a marker there. We're doing X's at 7 points, and we'll add an X right here as well. All right, we missed this one, but you got the idea, the same thing. You can do the exact same thing with the EM diagram, and then you'll also want to make sure when you paste this into PowerPoint that you specify what the PCBS contour interval is. So these are the 0 lines. These are the plus 500. These are this one's plus 1,000 for the F22, and then plus 1,500 for the F22. So make sure they're all labeled. A good way to do that is with maybe a text box and an arrow pointing to each of them. So make sure that they're legible, and don't forget the data block. So good luck.